It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
Cook the lone setback on 2nd and 1 with 6:58 and counting left. Bills down 31-28. Here's the snap. Hand off to Cook. Lowers the shoulder. Looking for the end zone, and he's in! James Cook with a trifecta of touchdowns. Punches it in on an 11-yard touchdown run, and the Bills are back in front, 34-31.
Hurts in the gun. Barkley to his left. Hurts gives it off on a pitch, and running and dashing, and in for the touchdown is Goddard. 4-yard run with a little flip to Goddard.
Out of the shotgun. Here's Purdy. Takes the snap. Flushed out right. Throws. Jennings! Front of the end zone! Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! Jennings broke across. A big spike for his second of the game.
Blake Corum behind Stafford. He will get the feed. He bounces left side. 10, 5. Corum skates in. Touchdown, Blake Corum. Touchdown, LA. The Rams open up a 2-score lead over the Lions in Week 15.
Patrick hurt his left knee. We'll get an MRI tomorrow or this evening, whenever they get him in there. It didn't look good. So, I mean, you guys saw it. So we'll just see where it goes.
It goes to surgery. That's where it goes. That was Andy Reid after Kansas City lost. You would think the worst thing that happens in Kansas City on a Sunday is a home loss. But worse than that is a home loss to a division team. And worse than that is a home loss to a division team that officially eliminates you from the playoffs. And worse than that is a home loss to a division team that eliminates you from playoffs while Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL. Captain Obvious, I had to watch reports that he's out for the year. Yeah, I know, it's torn ACL. I got it. Is he back for next season? Because I'm doing the math on that, and it's not good. It's 8 months now to preseason games, 9 months from today is week 2 of the NFL season. How fast is he going to come back? There are stories of people coming back in 6 or 7 months. There are stories of people have a little setback and it ends up taking a year. I did see the stories about the parallels with Tom Brady's career. 9 years, 3 Super Bowls, and the torn ACL in the 9th year. And missed the playoffs for the only time.
But the difference was...
he's not Tom Brady, and we're not sure he's going to have the same coach for the next decade and that he's going to win 6 Super Bowls.
And Tom Brady tore his in week 1 of the season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The big difference, yeah. He had the full year to get ready for the next season, and this, of course, happens late in the season. So maybe this isn't the lost year. Next year's the lost year. The NFL's so long, though. It's such a, if they could just stay afloat and he comes back midseason, you know what the Chiefs are going to have next year? They're going to have a third-place schedule. And that makes a difference. Let's get 2 or 3 of these tough teams off the schedule and see how much things change. You get a little more confidence, then you win another game or 2 that you're losing. It's a close game, and suddenly everything flips around. And you're saying, DJ, that's totally Pollyanna. Come on now. Really? What are the Denver Broncos doing? The reason we were so excited to see the Broncos play a good team yesterday is because they're playing a third-place schedule. And he beat the Packers 34-26. Good win for Denver. They are 12-2. Bo Nix, 23 of 34, 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. I'm looking for something to criticize in there. We got a negative in there? He's got no playoff experience. We don't know how he's going to do in January and February. That's true, we don't. The AFC looks wide open because there are a lot of teams with no playoff experience, or in the case of Jacksonville, very little. I don't know what happened to Jacksonville last year. I don't know why they stalled out 2 years ago. They went 9-8 3 years ago, and they won a playoff game, and you think, okay, they're on their way. They really weren't on their way. They kind of stalled out the next year. And then they went backwards in a big way and had a 4-win season. They're looking good now. Jacksonville 10-4 after blowing out the Jets. That was your lock of the week, wasn't it, Yak? No, look at you. Look at you with the W.
Closing in on that double crown.
Jacksonville's won 5 in a row. Can't complain. Patriots losing to the Bills. Is Buffalo the best team with the worst defense? I mean, that defense is bad. It's bad. But you know what they've got? They got Josh Allen. They got James Cook. And that makes a lot of things okay. I know there's a feeling this is a Super Bowl year, right? They're not going to bump into the Ravens or the Bengals or the Chiefs. Okay, theoretically they could play the Ravens, but I think they actually welcome that. And the Ravens looked better yesterday, 24-0. Kyle Van Noy, best ad lib of the day, gets the pick, realizes killed the drive, protects the shutout. Cincinnati's threatening to score. It's 17-0, middle of the fourth quarter. They're probably not coming back. And he puts the exclamation point on the game because he starts running. You can just see him looking around. Veteran move, looking around like, I got to run a long way. I'm going to have to run really fast. Let's let this kid do it.
Hey, Alohi Gilman, the former Orem Tiger.
Hand the ball off to Alohi Gilman. Go get him. I'll be back here if you need me.
Well, did you see? So did you see the reverse angle of that play?
No.
So Van Noy hands it off, and he kind of like throws like a block, a guy that's trying to chase down Gilman.
Kind of bumps into an offensive lineman.
He turns around and puts his finger in the air because he knows Gilman's gone. And he's walking over the sideline.
Yeah, he's walking over the sideline. They're not paying me for this. The return's on him. But he didn't lateral it. He literally handed it to him because the coaches always protect the ball, don't need risky.
Alohi, go.
And he didn't do it in traffic. He handed it towards the sideline. Yeah, it was a veteran play. Maybe Baltimore's back. They could use a little help in the Monday night game tonight. The Steelers are 7-6, and the Ravens are 7-7. Miami's at Pittsburgh tonight, so maybe they get a little help there. Those two still have to play again. That'll decide the division. That'll decide who finishes fourth. And we'll see if it's the Bills or the Chargers who are the 5 seed. Yeah, Buffalo could still win the division. It could happen. They're a game back. Best third-place team this year? The Chiefs or the Vikings? Young quarterback. They're getting him experience. Now, Dallas has a bad defense, too, and a defense in transition. It's been a weird year. Jerry Jones has made it a weird year in Dallas. But J.J. McCarthy looked good. Minnesota wins 34-26. Moved the ball, finished most of the drives. It was solid, except it's coming against the Dallas defense. The best-worst win of the day goes to Seattle. 6 field goals, no touchdowns. All right, you gave up the lead late on a 60-yard field goal, and you go back down the field, and they rode Rashid Shaheed. Now, midseason trade, it's going to take a while to work him in. Apparently, that's happened. 2-minute drive, you got to win the game. They throw him the ball 3 times. Gets a couple of chunk plays. They end up with 52 yards receiving on the drive on 3 catches. And they kick a 56-yard field goal, and they win the game 18-16. Phillip Rivers, it was an inspiring performance. I don't think it was great. I think people gushed a little too much. I mean, he threw for 120 yards. He wasn't exactly on fire. Now, if he'd been handing off to Jonathan Taylor for 250 yards, that's fine. But the Seattle defense is awesome, and you don't run the ball like that. Jonathan Taylor, 25 carries, 87 yards. If you could put Seattle and Buffalo together, you'd have quite a team. You'd probably also have 130% of the salary cap. Seattle's defense, great. Seattle's offense, how much do we trust Sam Darnold? We don't. After what happened last season at the end, we don't. But they are tied with the Rams for the best record in the NFC after winning 18-16. Phillip Rivers, 18-27, 120 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. The pick came late in the game, thrown in the teeth of the defense after the field goal made it 18-16. I didn't think much of that. That's kind of desperation time. All right, there's a lot of football. We'll have more this morning. Riley Jensen's going to join us in the 9 o'clock hour. Enjoy the Monday Night Football tonight. Miami at Pittsburgh. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
And now the moment everybody has been waiting for. The winner of the 2025 Heisman Trophy is Fernando Mendoza.
And now the moment that a few of you have been waiting for. Well, everybody in this room, but around the country, Fernando Mendoza, Captain Obvious. He wins. I think people expected him to win. People want him to win. The Cal transfer goes to Indiana, wins the Heisman Trophy, wins the Big Ten, and goes 13-0. Now, how much more can they do? Bum, bum, bum. Diego Pavia finished second. His actions at an after-party where vulgarities about Indiana Mendoza were displayed on screen. Saw him issue a public apology yesterday for his actions on social media. The NFL always takes this kind of stuff into account. They always do. They're looking for leaders, people they can trust. They're giving you a lot of money. Don't go out there and make a fool of yourself. I mean, do I think it comes down to whether you make the NFL on that or not? No, that'd be an overstatement. But what position you're drafted in and how much money they're making the rookie contract, yeah, absolutely impacted by that. We're a little short on college football. Navy beat Army 17-16. Good rally there by the midshipmen to get the last 10 points. And Washington blew out Boise State. I said this in the last hour. I grew up in San Diego. I root for the little guy because I grew up rooting for the little guy. It came natural. The big guy was right up the road in Los Angeles. Dodgers won a World Series, went to a bunch of them. Lakers won the NBA title, had the longest winning streak in NBA history. USC football, UCLA basketball had a dynasty. The big dude was right up the freeway. I rooted for the little guy. I have defended the group of five in the playoff. I was glad the Senators rallied, threatened legal action, clearly antitrust to work. I don't think they're going to get kicked out, but I don't know that they're going to compete either. These two games, the group of five in the playoff, and the Boise State got worked by Washington, just got worked. It's harder than ever to win because the way to win when you were a group of five was to get the overlooked guys, build them up, grow them over time, and 2-3 years down the road, you had something. But now they start making progress. The team just swoops in and grabs them. I mean, look what the Utes did to New Mexico. Look what BYU did with Weber State. They pick off a few key guys, and it changes everything. And so I know what Utah did in 2004 and in 2008. I know what BYU did in 96. I know what TCU did on down the line. That is so hard to do today. Those teams couldn't be ransacked the way these teams can be ransacked. Tulane played Ole Miss. I'm surprised this hasn't gotten more pub. Tulane played Ole Miss in the regular season at Ole Miss and lost 45-10. Now we're going to get a rematch in the playoffs? I'm not sure we want the rematch in the playoffs. And I want to stick up for the little guy, but it's getting harder and harder to see how the little guy can pull it off. Kevin DeBoer issued a statement saying he's not interested in any other coaching job. So I don't know, did he get another year tacked on? Did he get a little money for the old NIL budget? What did they do? Because he could have been not interested immediately, but he was not interested after a few days, which makes me think there's some behind-the-scenes negotiations. All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah Jazz.
He keeps getting better and better every game that we play and just getting reps at it. So it was just a matter of time when this happens, and it's just the beginning for him, obviously.
Lauri Markkanen on Keontae George's play, career-high 39 points. And, man, when you're feeling it, crazy stuff happens. He threw in a late bucket right on the three-point line. Jackknife, chuck it up, and it goes in because you're feeling it. Big game for Keontae, and the Jazz win on the road. Now, I know a lot of you are worried about the Jazz giving away that draft pick to Oklahoma City. And I get it, 100%. You don't have to explain to me. I get it. To me, these are the wins that are really the road wins against a mediocre team. These are the ones that just stand out. And I know every win matters, every win counts, but you're going to beat some of the bad teams. You're going to win home games. Everybody in the NBA wins some home games. Everybody in the NBA beats some bad teams. You're going to do that. Why are they sitting on 9 wins when Charlotte's sitting on 8, Brooklyn on 7, Clippers, Kings, and Pacers on 6? It's a win like the Memphis game. That's the one you're not supposed to get. Memphis is flat out mediocre. Now, maybe they're a little worse than that because they had Zach Edey and he's a big presence inside. The good news, if you want the Jazz to lose a bunch of games, is they still don't defend. It was still 130 to 126. It is so rare that they win these games. They've won a handful of them. 4 or 5 times this year they've outscored. But they're a 500 team when they hold people under 120. You want them to get better, start defending. Because in almost every defensive metric that matters, field goal, opponent's field goal percentage, opponent's three-point percentage, points per game, points per possession, they're terrible. They're bottom 5 or 6 in the league. So Keontae got hot, and they won a road game. That's the one that raises an eyebrow right there. They're back at it tonight. Dallas Mavericks, Cooper Flag. Get to see them tonight, 7 o'clock. The game, pregame will start at 6 o'clock here on The Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
LeBron James and Dylan Brooks. They don't like each other. LeBron got a T. Brooks got ejected. Lakers beat the Suns 116-114. Lakers 11 games over 500. Tied for 4th with San Antonio in the West. Good enough to win regular season games. And then what? Trailblazers beat the Warriors 136-131. The Warriors continue to stay mediocre. Nice for the Jazz to see the Blazers get win number 10. I suppose that's a positive right there. Really, that's all I do now is I check the scores and see what happened to the Pacers and the Wizards. Two bottom feeders going at it. Wizards got win number 4. Beat the Pacers 108-89. Just look for the bad teams. Hornets beat Cleveland in overtime. What is going on with Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs? 15-12? Expected more out of them. Third of the way through the season, only 3 games over. Hornets pick up win number 8. And the Nets picked up win number 7. They blew out the Bucks 127-82. So, yes, the Jazz picked up a win over the weekend, but so did a lot of other teams, including the Pelicans. They got win number 5. They beat Chicago 114-104. So, Pelicans win, Nets win, Hornets win, Wizards win. Jazz weren't the only team in the bottom third of the league picking up a W. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
In baseball, Major League Baseball, you get to late July, early August. The dog days. We're in the dog days of college basketball. Sorry, baseball, I need to borrow an expression. BYU blew out UC Riverside 100-53. Who saw that coming? Utah State picked up the win over Illinois State 83-78. Mississippi State rallied to beat Utah 82-74. All fairly predictable. UVU jumped up and down on UC Santa Barbara in the opening 10 minutes of the game. That was ugly.
I guess the only thing is Utah gave up a 17-point lead.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a twist, but as Alex said, it's not the first time they've blown the lead this year.
That one looked like they had that pretty much on lockdown.
Yeah, it's 17, you do think, but they don't defend. Period. When Alex played, and when Rick was done yelling at Alex and his teammates, and they all went to get changed, and Rick went to talk to the media, look at the box score. Target of PK, and the first thing he looked at was opponent's field goal percentage. Other team shot 51%. Rick would have had a heart attack if he'd seen his team give up 50 points in the second half. He just gave up 50 points in the second half. You're right, 17-point leads don't go away every day in college basketball, but I thought Alex was spot on in the postgame when he said 22 points off turnovers. And why are they shooting such a high percentage? Well, how many did you give them in transition? Because people tend to shoot a high percentage in transition. How many different sports do we cover where coaches talk about transition? Pablo Mastroni comes on and talks about it in soccer. Andre Tourney talks about it in hockey.
Will Hardy with the Utah Jazz.
Will Hardy with the Utah Jazz talks about it. It's like, if you can get your defense set up, it's hard to break down. If your defense isn't set down, race down there and score before anybody else gets there. It's not complicated. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Sergachev. Back for Yamamoto. Far side, Dursey. Wrist shot. Scores! Sean Dursey gets his first of the year, and Utah has come all the way back here in Pittsburgh. We're tied at 3. Booth finds Barrett Hayden. Back door. They score! Carcone gets his second, and Utah pulls in front. We're 30 seconds into OT. Mammoth get the puck back. Dylan Gunther starts accelerating across the blue line. Gunther pulls the trigger and scores! Dylan Gunther does it again! Another OT winner for Gunner.
Okay, coming back from 17 in a basketball game will raise an eyebrow, but coming back from 3 in an NHL game, and especially the Mammoth, this isn't a team that's played a lot of high-scoring games. This isn't a team that has a ton of firepower, especially with Logan Cooley out. This is a team that grinds and wins a lot of games 2-1 and 3-2. So when they get down 3 goals, you're thinking, all right, well, good luck with that. Well, thank you for the good luck. It paid off. So did some hard work, and they came back and won 5-4 in overtime. Great rally. Dylan Gunther, who's making a habit of these things, picks up another OT game winner. So 2 big points on the road for the Utah Mammoth. They are on the road tomorrow night in Boston. Puck drops at 5 o'clock here on the Zone. And Minnesota Wild traded for Vancouver Canucks star Quinn Hughes. 3 players and a first-round pick. Hughes was the 7th pick in the first round back in 2018. 26 years old. right in his prime.
He's won the Norris Trophy before. He's the best defenseman in the league. So, blockbuster deal.
Blockbuster. That is what's trending. There are your headlines. Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. All right, coming up next, the news of the weekend. Kyle Whittingham in a Friday news dump steps down. Notice they didn't use the word retire. He steps down. We'll get to that. Your memories of Kyle coming up. Stay with us.